invited to the Savvy Caregivers Workshop series on June 22nd, 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Are you a caregiver dedicated to providing the best for a loved one or someone who just needs the help of someone who cares? You are not alone. The Savvy Caregivers Workshop series is designed to provide resources, answers, and hope for you. Please call 504-782-4629 to register. Call 504-782-4629 to register. Here's one of the presenters, Veronica Kaye.
Are you a caregiver that's frustrated, stressed, unpaid, unrecognized, and unappreciated? My name is Veronica Kaye, and I am the Executive Director for A Place in Zion, a nonprofit organization that specializes in Alzheimer's enrichment programs. There is going to be a wealth of information where I will share with you from my personal playbook that I wrote to care for my mother, who was diagnosed in 2018 with Alzheimer's disease. It has a wealth of strategies, tools, education, and it's been helping families across the country on how to provide a personalized care plan for individuals with dementia, as well as helping them to improve their overall quality of life. So many times I hear horror stories on caregivers that lose so much money, time, health, family trying to care for someone else. Help is here. Resources are here.
If nutrition and mental health are important to you, then you will enjoy learning from nurse practitioner Candida Rogers-Thompson.
I'm Candida Rogers-Thompson. I am a nurse practitioner, but I am also a caregiver. And I'm here to invite you to the Savvy Caregivers Workshop series, the first entitled, Cracking the Code to Dementia. We're going to be discussing your mental health because it does matter. We're also going to be talking about some of those caregiver stressors, such as emotional strain, physical fatigue, lack of personal time, social isolation. We're going to give you some help to kind of navigate through those issues, to make that road a little bit easier. But you have to register. It is a free event. I look forward to seeing you there and meeting you and talking to you. So until then, see you soon.
I'm Sandra Coleman Miller. I'm the Director of Care Therapy Incorporated, NOLA. We are a nonprofit organization that has been developed to provide information, resources, and opportunities for caregivers. So we build partnerships in the community. AARP, Fidelity Bank, Advise Well, Gen Care will be there. We had Dr. Dana Andrews. He will be there sharing from the stress and depression end of it, mental health. We just have so many wonderful things that are set up for you guys. And this is only the first installment in the series. The event is free, and we promise you that you won't leave like you came. You will leave so enriched with information that you'll be able to go back and share the information so that you can create a circle of care to make the journey easier for everyone, because indeed, caring for our loved ones is a journey, and we'll see you real soon.
This is Dr. Dana Andrews of Center in Truth Ministries, Senior Pastor, also CEO of TruthLink 2150 Incorporated, or a service organization, and also I am the Assistant Director of Kendra Lynn's Health Nut System. As my mother used to always remind me, you are an adult once, but you're a child twice. As caregivers, we deal with that person who has started off as a child, has moved to adulthood, but now they're becoming a child all over again. What do our seniors need? As caregivers, we want to first of all give them a listening ear, to listen to them so they can share what it is that they've done from their point of view. Let me say this again, from their point of view. They want to know that no matter what, their living has not been in vain. So as a caregiver, we want to listen. And then next we want to do is validate them by something very simple as shaking your head, giving them a warm smile, giving them a point of assurance to let them know that your life was needed. Your life is still needed. I'm looking forward to the spot that I play on the conference, on the Caregivers Conference, and I'm looking forward to listening to so many who have something to say to give to our seniors. And you heard this from the truth, the whole truth, the Dr. Truth. You're blessed.
Your tireless efforts will not go unnoticed anymore. Please call 504-782-4629 to RSVP or visit eventbrite.com.
Well, hello, everyone. This is Singinlisa welcoming you to another Meaningful Conversations podcast. And of course, the opportunity to learn more about what people are doing in their life as they use their gifts is always a pleasure. So I am here and you see these beautiful ladies before you, and you already know, or you should, that there is an event coming up on the 22nd that you need to take part in. Because if you are a caregiver, then this is for you. This is an event that is designed to give you support. It's designed to provide you with a sisterhood, with a community of people who feel like you feel, who have experienced what you have, who struggle like you do, who feel alone like you may feel, and who share so many different emotions that go into caregiving. We all have been in that seat or in that seat and are providing, that service. And so we have experience, we have, the emotion that goes into it. So this is an opportunity for you to learn more about how you can connect with people who want to help you win in this area, to survive, and to not just survive, but to thrive. So I will get started with introducing Cinder Coleman Miller, because she has been very instrumental in coming up with this event, but many others that we are familiar with seeing her participate in, where it comes to providing care for the elderly, care for those who may not get as much attention as they used to, as they should. So Cinder, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, Lisa.
please share with us about this beautiful company that you now have by name, but of course you've been doing a lot of work even before that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you for this opportunity. Again, my name is Cinder Coleman Miller, and I am the founder of Care Therapy Incorporated. We are a nonprofit 501c3. We have been we're brand new actually since October of last year, but we're in the community doing an amazing work. And this particular subject comes from my years of caring for seniors in the community. I mean, even from a child, we were taught to take care of our elders. So it's my ministry, it's my life. But here, this year, I recently retired from my job that was marketing events and organizations in the community for seniors, senior-related events, I should say. And so Care Therapy, we decided to put our focus totally on caregivers and seniors, and that's all we're going to be doing in the community. And so I thought one of my loves are caregivers. 53 million caregivers in the United States. There are 53 million. 65% of those are unpaid caregivers. 60% of those are women. So you'll see how important it is that we began to get the word out about, caregivers, and that we give them a platform, and that we give them the tools and the resources that they need to survive. 33% of caregivers pass away before the loved ones that who they're taking care of. So there's just so much room for education and resourceful information that needs to get out into the community. One of the things that I'm very good at is doing things creatively. So that's why we came up with the theme Savvy Caregivers, and took the opportunity to partner with, the regional West Bank Regional Library. I went to them. They said they received the vision and said, we will give you the room, we'll give you the space to get the word out. And so I, along with my other partners and colleagues here who are more on the medical and technical side of things, we've come together and we've developed what we think is going to be an absolutely phenomenal program to impact the lives of caregivers and sustain them. Because without the caregivers being healthy and whole, then our seniors will not receive the care that they deserve. That's our goal.
Very good. Well, thank you so much. And then we'll move
You're
on to
welcome.
Veronica Kaye. And she as well has a wonderful wealth of information to share and has an experience. And so please let everyone know a little bit about yourself and share with us what is at your heart, on your heart.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for hosting and having us here tonight, Singinlisa. This is a wonderful platform, and I'm just really, really grateful for the opportunity, and even for Cinder for inviting me in on her platform to participate. My name is Veronica Kaye, and I am the executive director of a nonprofit organization called A Place in Zion. We started out as a community resource center, and we have two initiatives right now. The first is an Alzheimer's enrichment program, and the second initiative that we have is called the Youth Advocacy Program. With our Alzheimer's enrichment program, we focus on supporting caregivers in the community as well as individuals with Alzheimer's disease. Our goal is simple. One, to improve the quality of life for those individuals living with dementia or some form of dementia. Number two, provide resources for caregivers. And in number three, the third goal we have is to prevent premature institutionalization. And so we're very excited about partnering with Cinda because as she was talking about the statistics, currently in the Louisiana market, and just break it down by parishes, Arlene Parish ranks number 16 in the United States as having the highest incidence of Alzheimer's disease. And Jefferson Parish ranks number 15. And by 2030, that number is supposed to increase by another 30%. And so what we're doing is we're getting the word out. I work with a group of doctors, and we're focusing on lifestyle changes because we believe that this process can be minimized, reversed, or prevented all encompassing with the proper lifestyle medicine changes that we are proposing to do. And so basically what I do is I work with caregivers. I go into the home, I do an assessment, I help the family members develop a plan of care, I educate caregivers that they may have, and I also have a comprehensive care plan. And a year ago, I wrote a workbook called the Personal Playbook, and it teaches basically caregivers how to train just about anyone to take care of their loved ones. It is very, very important that I get to caregivers and have an opportunity to speak with them to let them know that there is hope. A lot of them are hopeless. A lot of them are burned out. We are of the age now where we're approaching retirement, many of us, but we're finding ourselves becoming caregivers. I don't know about you, but when I got that last child out the house, I was so excited, not realizing my mom and dad would be coming there a few months later. And it was a shift. It was a mental shift. It was a physical shift. And I really had to put my mindset in the right perspective because I love my parents. I love them absolutely dearly. But when you are still in the prime of your career and working, that's a big adjustment. And so I basically walk caregivers through on how to make that transition and how to do it graciously. What I've come to realize is that I've learned so much of taking care of my elderly mother that has mid to moderate Alzheimer's disease. And it's been life-changing for me. And so I'm not talking from a place of theory, but I'm talking from a place of practicality of what I've actually experienced. So I'm just excited to be a part of this program. I'm working with some dynamic colleagues, Candida and Cinder and Dr. Truth, and we're excited and we're looking forward to bringing what we have to the community. So thank you once again for having me.
Absolutely. And of course, we are thrilled, that everyone is able to be here. And we don't want to overlook our nurse practitioner because we know from the pandemic more than ever that nurses are the real doctors, right?
Yes.
So true.
And so I'm going to give him that title if nobody else will, because I know being on the front line and what that looks like. And so, Candida Rogers Thompson, please take the stage, take the mic, because listen, we owe you a big thank you for your role in healthcare in general. But I know that you also have a personal connection to this title and this topic.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So I'm Candida Rogers Thompson. I am a nurse practitioner. I'm a caregiver. And I think our common thread is that between Cinder and Veronica, we're all caregivers.
Mm-hmm.
And I echo what Veronica just said as far as we're part of that sandwich generation, where we are, and I still actually have a 17-year-old son that I'm taking care of. And I'm working, and I'm expected to function and, in all capacities. So in my story is a little bit different. My mom, she's still with us. She has dementia. I actually met Cinder because I am from Baton Rouge originally. So my roots are in Baton Rouge. So my mom was there. So I had the task of, and I had siblings that wasn't really, I guess, say, interested in taking care of her, at that stage of her life. So I was forced, or and I think it was the privilege. A mother knows their children,
Yeah.
and she actually gave me that responsibility by making me power of attorney. And she was like, "Okay, D, I know I have dementia. I know things are gonna." And I mean, she had this foresight. She knew about it. She said, "Well, I'm putting you in charge of me. I know you're gonna take care of me like I took care of you." And that's what I did. Whether anybody helped or not, she gave me that responsibility. She told me that's what I needed to do, and that's what I did. And it was a lot. Going back, I was traveling back and forth to Baton Rouge, taking care of her as long as I did, and then eventually I had to move her here. But I think God, doesn't make mistakes. He put Cinder in my path. I met her. She helped. She had a daycare center at the time, adult daycare center, Day Haven at the time, and she was amazing. She was an angel. So she really helped. And it's ironic because I'm a nurse practitioner, but I think tapping in on that part of me, I felt helpless. I truly felt helpless. And ironically, I take care of people all the time with dementia and their plan of care. But I think when it's different,
Right.
somehow, I don't know how to put a face on it, but somehow it's different, and I felt helpless, and Cinder really helped with, she was amazing, and I thank her, when she asked me to come and be part of care therapy, I, without hesitation, yeah, of course I would, whatever you need me to do, because I understand the challenge, firsthand personally. This is part of my life every single day. At work, I'm faced with it all day at work, and then at home, with my mom. My mom and Veronica. I'm gonna throw Veronica in there too because I happen to meet Veronica. Her family is part of my church family, and also she happens to be the director of nursing at the nursing home with my mom in the house. So, like I said, nothing happens by mistake. I think God puts people in our path, for a season, a reason, a time, and I'm so glad to be part of these ladies' lives, and part of this initiative, to help caregivers any way that we possibly can. I think, everyone needs, it takes a village. It truly takes a village, and I am so blessed to be part of this initiative.
Oh, well, I love that. And thank you so much, ladies. It means so, so much, to hear everyone's personal story and connection to this topic and to this matter, this cause and concern, that is around the world, around the country, because so many people can relate to it because it seems to be a population of people that are underserved, ignored in many cases, not given the attention, not given the resources that are needed for their life to continue to be valuable, to continue to thrive, to continue to have meaning and purpose. And so it is a huge transition. And so I speak from a seat of experience as well. And, grateful that I can say that, my mom was my child. And she would always say, well, how could that be? And I said, well, you just are. And so it became that role reversal that none of us asked for, but it definitely came. And, God does know how much we can handle, and He does know the people to connect us to so that we can try to continue to make life wonderful and to make it meaningful and purposeful. So I love everything that you all have shared. And of course, you said some things that are really, really, interesting and pivotal coming from your different positions. And so, Candida, being in the healthcare industry, you said something that I'm pretty sure people could definitely identify with. It is one thing to take care of someone else that you don't know, that you don't have an investment in, that you can say, like your grandkids, I'm glad you came, but I'll see you next time. You don't have an issue when it comes to loving and showing empathy, but when it comes home, when it comes to the person that brought you into this world or that cared for you, that provided for you, that is an entirely different page, entirely different chapter. The perspective changes, everything, the dynamics, all of that, because now you have an investment. You have an unspoken responsibility, I believe, to do some things and to make sure things work right without even knowing how to make it work right. And so the whole process is figuring out, how do I make this work? How can I, who do I talk to? Because nobody knows what I'm going through. Nobody is understanding how I feel and why I feel like I want to give up. Not because I don't love my mother or my father or my loved one, but I don't feel qualified. And Veronica, you wrote a playbook that is just absolutely amazing as a resource for people. And I often think about how I would tell my mother, I didn't have a manual when I came here, and you don't have one either.
Right.
And so I said, just like you had to figure it out for me, I'm having to figure it out for you. But, thankfully, something that you've done is so powerful and necessary to have a book, have a resource, which I think many people are missing. Just having someone or something they can look to get some type of an answer to make the next step be the right step and be the better step, in what they've had to do. So I would ask, Candida, in your field, what's been the most outstanding change as you've taken care of other people? What connection do you see in how you've provided for others and then having to care for your mother?
I think it's the relatability now, because I can look at them, as in a professional sense, as far as the nurse practitioner, because I play both roles and the caregiver role. So I think that relatability helps me to understand what they're actually going through. It's not just, sympathy is actually empathy, because I'm actually in that role, in both roles, in that role where I can actually help them. And I think throughout the years, hindsight is 2020. So I kind of look back at some things that I may have done wrong, and I know better. And I feel like I can guide them a little bit better now, because I've made those mistakes, I feel like I've come to a place where I know a little bit more than what I started out knowing. Because it's a very, it's like raising your children. It's like that responsibility is as heavy as that. It's like, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, I'm making the right decision. Is it something, especially when they have dementia and they can't interject in their care or make those decisions anymore? You literally have to make decisions for them. So are you doing the right thing? I mean, am I making the right decision for my mom? Is this something that she would want? It's like that burden of responsibility in that sense, it's heavy. It can be really heavy, and like in my particular instance, I don't have that family to kind of talk to and say, well, what do you think mama would think? What do you think she would want? I have to make those decisions myself alone. And it is difficult for me. So I'm glad I have that medical knowledge to kind of help me out with that. But still, it's still, humanizing, because like I said, I want to make sure I make the right decision for her. I don't want her to suffer. I don't want, I want to make sure this is something that she would want.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned along the way.
Yeah, thank you. And, I see that, and I would believe that as you've learned the things you have, that it actually is reciprocal in the sense that it's like a boomerang in a way, because one is feeding off the other. So what you've learned from your professional standpoint has helped you personally. But then I think what you know personally is maybe, as you said, allowing you to help those families that you meet get some tools and decision-making abilities that they weren't aware that they could have, or they just didn't even realize because they didn't know, like yourself, where to start. So I think in your condition or position, it really has seen a light in both directions, helping in your particular circumstance. So thank you so much for that. And then Veronica, I remember you sharing how you would do different things, different activities, and all with your mom. And I think we've shared some things by video. But what is it like when you have been the caregiver, or you've been in your professional position, but then when it comes home and all of a sudden everything you thought you knew is maybe not what you think will work, so you have to almost start with a clean slate. And then have you been in the position where you have to make the decisions as Rhonda says, for your mom, but then you're saying, well, is this the right thing? For me, I wanted to say, well, mom, I want you to be mom. Tell me, is this right? And you make the decision. I don't mind being the voice, but tell me, is it right? You want some validation. So
Correct.
can you speak to that?
Yes, yes. Some very good questions you're asking, Singinlisa. One of the things, as Candida was speaking, I started thinking about, my role. Like, I am also a nurse as well too. But for me, with my mother, I was in denial. My mother was first diagnosed in 2018, but she was so high functioning. And at that time, my dad had a catastrophic illness. And so my focus was taking care of him. And I also had, at the time, this was around 2017, 2018, I also had, my last child was in high school. And so focusing on my dad, focusing on my family. And at the time, quote unquote, I thought mom was just being a little extra. And so it was a challenge for me because I wanted her to behave, not recognizing that it was a dementia. And so, long story short, by the time it became into fruition that it was full-blown disease, it came after Hurricane Ida, when they lost everything and she was triggered. And my dad took sick. And so for me, I had my father who was dying physically and my mother who was dying mentally at the same time. And I was put in a situation to where I had to almost pick and choose who I would care for. My dad was in the hospital for 8 months. My mom was home with me and she was spiraling out of control, acting out. And honestly, I did not want that responsibility. I'm a daddy's girl. I wanted to be there for my dad because my mom was really just acting out at that time in my mind. And I remember going around the city of New Orleans trying to find a place to put her in as far as with an adult daycare so that I can go to the hospital and still work and just take care of my 17-year-old that was about to graduate. I needed a couple of hours of space.
Yeah.
And when I could not find anything suitable other than the Jewish Community Center in New Orleans, they had a capacity for 12 individuals 3 times a week from 9 a.m. to 12 noon in an 18-month waiting list. And I remember crying in the parking lot. And I'm like, God, this is not fair. This is not fair at all. I was upset. And the Lord said, do what you did at Waldenberg. At Waldenberg, we had a very renowned memory care unit. And our patients, based on the data, actually improved. And it took a certain mindset because I have 2 brothers that's here. And if you know anything about brothers, they're not going to volunteer. They're not going to offer. You got to tell them, I need you to go here and do that and do that. And you got to give them 1, 2, 3. And as a result of me taking off about 4 months to take care of my dad, I needed to go back to work. And that's what brought the playbook about, because it's not that they did not want to do it. They didn't know what to do. And that's one of the biggest things I find with caregivers and families. There's always that's always that dynamic where it's always one, like Candida, that's doing everything. And I'm not going to put words in her mouth, but I could bet there are times when she was very frustrated and looking at the other siblings like, do y'all see me over here? Can somebody offer to help? They're not going to do that. And I had to figure out a way to get them engaged. And we fought. We didn't fist fight, but we was close to it. And we've had falls out. But the common goal was, how are we going to come together and take care of mom and dad? Yeah. And it was frustrating because I'm a nurse who happened to be the only girl who is sandwiched between 2 brothers. And so all the responsibilities fell on me, but I had to give myself permission. And I had to give emotions to my voice to say, I need a break. I'm frustrated. I'm tired. Let me show you all how to do that. Not focus on their attitudes, not me being so snappy with them. You should do this, but managing my emotions because the end result was I need to put together a team here. We got to have a village because this is what we have here. And that experience taught me, and this is what I tell caregivers, focus on the end result. What do you want the end result to be? You can fuss till the cows come home. And for the last 2 years, we have been operating like a smooth machine, me and my two brothers. Now, she may come outside with a white shoe and a blue shoe on, but she's gonna have shoes on, and I'm not gonna say a word.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? It may not be the way I would do it, but they're there and they're willing to do it. And so I celebrate what I have. And this is what I teach caregivers on how to pull together business because it's not that people don't want to, it's not that people don't want to help out. And they'll say, see, you can't tell me if you need me, call me, because I'm going to call you.
Yes.
Call you. But when I call you, I have to make sure that I have resources here so that you can feel comfortable taking care of my mother. I'm going to tell you when she's sundowning. I'm going to tell you what not to do to trigger her, and you're going to have all the tools that you need to be able to take care of her. And that's what I did with my brother. So I had to get out of nurse mode because nurse mode would have done it a certain way, and I had to be the compassionate sister. I had to be the patient daughter. And I had to, for a while, put my emotions, my inability to grieve, put that on the side because the end goal was once dad left to be with the Lord, it was just mom. And so we had to take care of her, who was on a spiral decline. And because of what we put in place, now she's thriving, she's doing well, she's living the best quality of life ever because of the program and the systems that we put in place.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah, and once again, everyone, we are speaking with three beautiful ladies who are part of a wonderful event that is coming up on June 22nd. You want to be a part of it. It is called Taking Care of Me, and it is the Savvy Caregivers event that you, the caregiver, needs to be at because it's about you, it's for you, it is to support you. And we're excited to be able to bring women who have experience, who are not just bringing what they have, but they're bringing a team. They're bringing their resources, the connections, the people, the doctors, all of the people behind the scenes who you've come to know or maybe not know very well, but you do know that they're a part of the care of your loved one. And it's time for you to get to know what is going to make your team the better team so that you can thrive, so that your loved one can live their years with excellence and with love and compassion. And I think, you all said some key words. And so, what do you want the end goal to be? Because we know that we all have an end, an expected end. And so, instead of knowing that we have an end and throwing our hands up on what do we do about it, how about being prepared to meet that end with dignity, to meet that end with love and with, pride and with compassion, knowing that everything that we had inside of us to give was given, and then feeling assured that the one that we loved is leaving in peace because they received all that they deserve to the best of your ability. I think that is so key with all that you all are saying. And you said some things that I think are key. The word isolation, I believe caregivers can definitely relate to. And so, Cinder, as you've met people throughout your years of hosting events or being at events and representing, various companies and now yours, what does that word isolation mean to you when you have met different families and people who just are wanting direction on what to do for themselves?
Yes. In the lives of caregivers, it's prevalent. It's more, lot of times when caregivers are going through, when they're dealing with the process, they don't share their emotions. They don't share everything that's truly going on with them. They don't share the sadness of isolation, that they have been removed from their community. Some of them have been removed from their families. Veronica mentioned it when she talked about sometimes the infighting or the disagreements within the family causes isolation. It causes that person who's made the sacrifice and commitment to be that primary responsible caregiver to be kind of separated from family, that person has I know firsthand, has the responsibility of attempting to honor mom versus the opinions of others. So isolation, there's so many facets to it, and that's one of the reasons why the savvy caregivers taking care of me is so important, because we know that we're going to honor that mother or that father, but we don't want to forget to honor that caregiver, because indeed that person has made a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice that, like, others may not even, I mean, you can't imagine the physical and the emotional toll that it takes when you have to isolate yourself from your community, your lifestyle. Sometimes marriages, are in trouble. Children are in trouble because that one person has made the commitment to take care of mom or dad. So
Yeah.
isolation is a really big part.
Yeah, really, really good, really true. And then, the other word that came up was celebration, because what you're attempting to do and will do at this event is going to be well received and recognized, because caregivers, like anybody else, want to feel like they're valued and feel important and feel
Yes.
appreciated. And oftentimes it's not going to come from the loved one, because they're in a world that we are not aware of, and how they have to navigate, their moment to moment being able to exist. And so we don't know the struggles that go on internally with them, medically or chemically, emotionally. There's so many facets to that. But what we are able to do is, react and provide and support and prepare. And so when you say celebration, it really is something that is to be commended to all of you and to all caregivers who take the time every day to celebrate the moments and not look at the bigger picture and, okay, we got to make it to this big birthday, or we have to make it to this big event. We want to celebrate the moment, celebrate the days, celebrate that this was a good day. I got to sleep 30 minutes extra. you know
Yes.
Something that might be small but monumental, because when you're exhausted, you can't even think straight, or everything is sideways and
Right.
crooked, and especially when people are not there to even understand, who say that they love you but they don't get it. So would you continue to provide information and share who are some of the people that are going to be at this event that will bring the support or the resources that people can benefit from?
Yes. We have AdviseWell. AdviseWell is a senior organization. Uh, they're stationed in Baton Rouge, and they will be there. They will be there to basically, they're bringing resources, bring resources for caregivers. So they're a caregiver oriented organization. So they'll be there. They'll be speaking support. They're the people that you can call in the midnight hour and get counseling, therapy, and support. So they'll be there. AARP has come on board. We're very proud of that. They'll be on board. We have Oak Street Health. They'll be there. That's a medical center for seniors, as well as Gen Care. So we're very proud of. There are a couple of others that I can't. Council on Aging. Council on Aging will be there. They're good partners of Care Therapy. So we have some wonderful organizations that will be coming in over the three, because we'll be doing this event one time a month for the next 3 months. And so we do have other organizations, and we're continuing to reach out to them as they are reaching out to us. I'm getting calls. Oak Street called us. They found out about it and they wanted to be a partner. So, there are people who are looking for the audience. They're looking for what we're looking for. And who we're looking for is looking for us, because indeed caregivers, they do need, the services and the training and the information that we're going to be sharing on Saturday.
That sounds wonderful. And I know that, caregivers listening, are excited about the fact that there is a community. And I do believe, as you all have shared, the isolation and the times that you feel alone, you don't feel like you're getting the help. There's no one you can really call at the moment. You really need them to step in and be there to give you a day off, a night off, a few hours off, or even just to come and help you do what it is you're doing at the time that you need a second or third pair of hands. It's those moments that really matter when people think, I don't know what to do. If you could actually just show up and be there, you would learn a lot, and you would really be amazed that the fact that your presence means more than words could even describe, when there's another pair of hands, another set of ears, another heart that can receive, all that needs to be shared in those moments. And so we won't be before you long. We're going to continue just a few more minutes to share a little bit, but we do want you to take this information and run with it. We want you to let everybody know who you know is in need of support, and say, look, girl, listen, there are some sisters that are really serious about helping us. And when we didn't know what to do or where to go, to call, they have answers. And so we want you to come and see what it's all about and find out where your community is, so that you can feel that you're not isolated, so you can feel connected to people who do care, who do understand, and who want the best for you and your loved ones. Because this is a learning process. It's not something that you are prepared to tackle. It's different for everybody. And before we leave, I want to speak to the importance of the topic of Alzheimer's, which is what is going to be focused on in this particular meeting. When it comes to Alzheimer's, you all mentioned some statistics about people in our world who are likely to get this, or who are more prone to get this. A lot of what is misunderstood is the nutritional side of things and the foods that we're eating, just in general. Before we even get to people that are elderly, people who have, Alzheimer's, just in general, we have a food situation in the world where we need to know about nutrition just for ourselves. So, what is it that a caregiver can really pay attention to when it comes to taking care of the food and the nutrition? I'll let Veronica speak first about that, and Rhonda, I would love it if you would share, the medical side of that, because I know not only does medicine play a part, but the food that is provided, and we can't eat like we always did when it comes to taking care of our loved ones. So would you share with that?
That's a great question. I'm going to speak. I have a wonderful example. I just signed up a family member. The mother is 84 years old and has dementia. And when I did my assessment of her about 4 weeks ago, she was very, very confused. Her gait or her ambulation was off, very anxious, very jittery, abdomen distended, very constipated. And when I did an assessment, with the family member, one of the things I asked the son about was the diet, because I'm looking around in the house and I see honey buns and I see candy and popcorn and potato chips, and he's about 300 pounds and overweight and diabetic and hypertension. I said, well, tell me about a typical meal for your mother. And it was like the red beans with the smoked sausage or pork chops and whatnot. And I was like, let's do something here. I said, you can consult with your doctor, because I don't practice medicine. And I said, but let's eliminate for the next 7 days meat and dairy products out of her diet. When I went back 14 days later, we had made a suggestion for them to reduce the amount of sugar, eliminate meat, dairy products, and go more to fruits, vegetables, and salmon and seafood and fish. A big difference. It was like night and day. It's the same thing I did with my mother. I basically put her on a Mediterranean diet, and and like I said, I have to be careful saying this. I'm gonna give a disclaimer because this is not for everybody, but it almost like reset her whole cognitive status. She wasn't complaining. She didn't have a lot of achiness and inflammation in her body. And so diet plays a very, very critical role. When I do my seminars, I say we live in Louisiana and the food is amazing, but it's also deadly, because of the fact that we don't know how to do it in moderation. We overindulge. And that's why you see dialysis centers on every corner. Everybody's diabetic. And these things can be reversed with proper lifestyle changes in diet. And so to answer your question, diet plays a critical role in all of our disease processes. And the life of the flesh is not only in the blood, but it's also in the gut. Life and death begins in the gut. So if you are consuming processed foods, meat, we don't know what these chicken wings have in it anymore. Some of them is as big as thighs, with all the antibiotics that they shoot them up with. And so we have to be very, very mindful. And I don't tell people you can't have anything. I say, why don't we limit it? I'm basically a pescatarian now, but every now and then I might want one piece of chicken wing, but my body, it almost reacts when I eat that one piece because it's not accustomed to consuming that anymore. And so lifestyle is critical. Lifestyle and food and what we put into our bodies, and our bodies will let us know too. We have to pay attention to our bodies.
Yeah. Wow, that's powerful. It's so key for all of us. If we're healthier, a lot of times our loved ones are going to be healthier because we do some of the things together. And so, Candida, when you are thinking about nutrition as a nutritionist, I know that food definitely is a part of your conversation. But when it comes to medication, along with that, how do you balance that? Or when you're having a conversation with your family, your friends, the persons that you have to serve, what types of advice do you give?
Yeah, I'm more of a naturalist as well. I find that our elderly have a lot of polypharmacy, meaning they're on so many medications, already. And then you have to, they're on this medicine, and then you have to give them another medicine to combat this adverse reaction of the previous medicine. So I try not to do that. I try to listen to the patients, when they tell me this and tell me that. Because listening is the key. When they're telling me they're constipated, I don't pile on another medicine for constipation. I'm saying, okay, I'm with Veronica. What are you eating?
Yeah.
How much water are you drinking? How much activity are you getting? Because some of those things can be altered, to adjust that side effect or that adverse reaction from that medication or whatever it's from. I try to figure it out first before I'm not that type of provider where I'm constantly giving medicine. Lifestyle changes are important to me as well, because it's proven, definitely that is the key to good health, your lifestyle. You are what you eat. And I truly believe it,
Yeah.
So I'm a strong believer of that. So I'm on board with that as well.
Well, I love that. And I want to say thank you so much. And of course, Cinder, I'll let you have the last words to share any other invitation information you want. But I just want to say thank you to you ladies for sharing your heart, your experience, your time, because it's invaluable when somebody else can know that, they're not alone when they feel like they're at their worst, or they've done their worst, or they haven't given, their best. I always share something that really helped me a lot when I was at a low moment, and I heard someone say that, you are not a bad person because you are tired in something. You're not tired of the person that you love, but yes, you can be tired in what you do because you're human. So that is life changing and was very freeing, because I know there's nobody who knows me who knows that I did not love my mother. I absolutely loved her tremendously and would do any and everything I could, just like you ladies and all of the caregivers watching and those that we have come to meet and will meet. And so we just need to know that there is another way, a better way to do the things that we're doing, so that we don't feel that our life is over, at the end of all of the caring that we're providing. So, Cinder, you want to have final words?
I just want to thank Candida and Veronica, Dr. Truth, for their platforms, for extending their platforms, and you as well, Lisa, for something that is so not only important to me, but important to our community, important to our people. You will not believe the calls that I have been getting about individuals who need what we're talking about and who have been wanting help. And so what we're doing this evening is extending this invitation to you to show up. We promise you, if you show up, you will not leave like you came. And just once again, thank you so much. We're going to be, resourceful. We're going to be intelligent. We're going to be savvy caregivers. We're going to do it with flair, and we're just going to honor our loved ones as we're being honored. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I love you guys very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank
It's
you.
an honor to have you.
All right.
Thank
Once
you for
again,
accepting.
Mark your calendars. It is June 22nd, 9:30 to 12. It's going to be at the Jefferson Parish West Bank Library and on Patton Boulevard. We'll post that information for you as well and show it. But we do want you to register. We want you to call and let us know that you're going to be there so that we can prepare for you to be sure that you receive everything you need to continue to be successful, or to just realize that there's more in store for you than you realize. So again, I'm Singinlisa. Thank you for enjoying and joining us for this meaningful conversation. And we're going to join again as we continue to get closer to the event and bring to you more topics that matter in your life. So again, take care, God bless, and do not give up.
Turn it up, turn it up. You're invited to the Savvy Caregivers Workshop series on June 22nd, 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Are you a caregiver dedicated to providing the best for a loved one, or someone who just needs the help of someone who cares? You are not alone. The Savvy Caregivers Workshop series is designed to provide resources, answers, and hope for you. Please call 504-782-4629 to register. Call 504-782-4629 to register. Here's one of the presenters, Veronica Kaye.
Are you a caregiver that's frustrated, stressed, unpaid, unrecognized, and unappreciated? My name is Veronica Kaye, and I am the Executive Director for A Place in Zion, a nonprofit organization that specializes in Alzheimer's enrichment programs. There is going to be a wealth of information where I will share with you from my personal playbook that I wrote to care for my mother, who was diagnosed in 2018 with Alzheimer's disease. It has a wealth of strategies, tools, education, and it's been helping families across the country on how to provide a personalized care plan for individuals with dementia, as well as helping them to improve their overall quality of life. So many times I hear horror stories on caregivers that lose so much money, time, health, families trying to care for someone else. Help is here. Resources are here.
If nutrition and mental health are important to you, then you will enjoy learning from nurse practitioner Candida Rogers-Thompson.
I'm Candida Rogers-Thompson. I am a nurse practitioner, but I am also a caregiver. And I'm here to invite you to the Savvy Caregivers Workshop series, the first entitled, Cracking the Code to Dementia. We're going to be discussing your mental health because it does matter. We're also going to be talking about some of those caregiver stressors, such as emotional strain, physical fatigue, lack of personal time, social isolation. We're going to give you some help to kind of navigate through those issues, to make that road a little bit easier. But you have to register. It is a free event. I look forward to seeing you there and meeting you and talking to you. So until then, see you soon.
I'm Sandra Coleman Miller. I'm the Director of Care Therapy Incorporated, NOLA. We are a nonprofit organization that has been developed to provide information, resources, and opportunities for caregivers. So we build partnerships in the community. AARP, Fidelity Bank, AdviseWell, Gen Care will be there. We had Dr. Dana Andrews. He will be there sharing from the stress and depression end of it, mental health. We just have so many wonderful things that are set up for you guys. And this is only the first installment in the series. The event is free, and we promise you that you won't leave like you came. You will leave so enriched with information that you'll be able to go back and share the information so that you can create a circle of care to make the journey easier for everyone, because indeed, caring for our loved ones is a journey, and we'll see you real soon.
This is Dr. Dana Andrews of Center in Truth Ministries, Senior Pastor, also CEO of TruthLink 2150 Incorporated, or a service organization, and also I am the Assistant Director of Kendra Lynn's Health Nut System. As my mother used to always remind me, you are an adult once, but you're a child twice. As caregivers, we deal with that person who has started off as a child, has moved to adulthood, but now they're becoming a child all over again. What do our seniors need? As caregivers, we want to first of all give them a listening ear, to listen to them so they can share what it is that they've done from their point of view. Let me say this again, from their point of view. They want to know that no matter what, their living has not been in vain. So as a caregiver, we want to listen. And then next we want to do is validate them by something very simple as shaking your head, giving them a warm smile, giving them a point of assurance to let them know that your life was needed. Your life is still needed. I'm looking forward to the spot that I play on the conference, on the Caregivers Conference, and I'm looking forward to listening to so many who have something to say to give to our seniors. And you heard this from the truth, the whole truth, the Dr. Truth. You're blessed.
Your tireless efforts will not go unnoticed anymore. Please call 504-782-4629 to RSVP or visit eventbrite.com.